The first people that introduced the concept of money to you determines how you see money. If you are born in a poor family and it's poor people, the way they use money determines how you see money. The day you were born, the first set of people that receive you on the earth affected how you think. Mom and dad, who are the poor people? So the first set of people that receive you are poor people. The first instruction you received was a poverty instruction. And then they now call their friends, who are also poor people. They all came together and ate the little food they have invested for your life. They finished the food, drank, and left. And they even forget the name of the person they came to see. And then, remember your primary school. The people that taught you in primary school, were they rich people? Just remember your primary school teachers. They were just broke poor people. And they were talking to you every day. A for apple, B for the... They were not teaching you to learn to become wealthy. They were teaching you to get salary at the end of the month. Nobody is born poor. Nobody is born rich. We are all born neutral.
Neutral?
Yes, zero. We are born male and female. We are not born either poor or rich. So it is what you learn that determines what you get, not what you desire. Well, I had polio when I was 1 year, 6 months. Yes, I was physically challenged. But in my mind, I don't see the physical challenge because my mind is complete. The picture of me in my mind does not recognize that my leg is not good. That's why when people see your circumstances, they have pity on you. But when they see your value, they have respect for you. I'm coming with a wheelchair. As I say, hello, ladies and gentlemen, the way you read all those wonderful
yes.
They're not clapping for me as I'm coming in wheelchair. They look like, hey, yeah, sorry. And by the time I struggle, get on the stage and I open my mouth and start speaking, they start being sorry for themselves. The area was because my value has not been expressed. And that's why I said, the world don't pay you for what you know. The world pays you for what you express. I want to be a lawyer. You have to go to law school. Who will teach you? Lawyers. They give you books on law. If you want to become a pilot, what do you do? Go to aviation school. Who will teach you their pilot? So why do you want to now become well? It's not going to church. It's no longer the environment that determines whether or not you're good or bad. It is the interpretation of what happens to life that gives you power, not what happened in life. Poverty is instrumental. It doesn't happen at the most times when people go to seminar, it's out of poverty. Out of poverty? Yeah. People go to seminar. Yes. Because things are not working. So let's say if you go to this seminar, but the things that made you poor was not done in a seminar. It was done in your family, your church, your village, your uncle, your friends, your family. So the things you learned was not in a seminar. It came out of your normal daily living activity. So how can seminar stop what has happened to 5 years ago? Any result you cannot sustain, the first one was a mistake. Wow. So if you make 40 million last year and you're struggling to make 20 million this year, what law did you obey last year? You don't know what it is. So somehow you stumbled on the right thing and results showed up. But because you don't know what laws you obey, it's difficult to sustain the result. Instead of chasing the money, chase the laws. The laws guarantees the outcome. Any person that is begging because his leg is bad, but being a criminal if his leg is okay. Yes. Wow. He's using leg to come and fly. Thank God the leg was broken up. Because the guy will carry gun. Laziness is not a physical thing. Laziness is a mental thing. Wow. It is not so much about the physical challenge as it is about the mental progress. Sometimes my driver on top Meland, you see full-grown men, 6-pack, selling bakery. Wow. With their head on their shoulder, muscles. And they are running around selling plantain chips, selling all these things. So those people are physically disabled. Wow. Mentally disabled. Physically disabled because their body is useless. So everybody has a brain, but not everybody has a mind. If you can't think a thought and hold a thought long enough for that thought to become an idea and convert that idea to value and convert the value to service, you're a lazy person. If your leg has issue, doesn't mean your mind is not functioning. Matter of fact, your legs is not meant for wealth creation, it's your mind. Your leg is to walk around your house. Your brain is meant for travel. So you travel in the mind, you walk around with your legs. Wow. In fact, there are so many hard-working lazy. Hard-working lazy? Yes. They are physically masking their laziness because they're not thinking. So there's a lot of physical things. Each time you see them, they're always trying to show, move around, that thing is trying to mask the fact that they are not intellectually sound enough to create a process, devise a means, a tool, a system that can allow them to be more productive without being physically available.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Selahmeditate. I'm your host, Benzik. And in this episode, I have a very powerful guest beside me here that's going to do justice to our discussion. Today, we're going to be discussing on success, entrepreneurship, and a whole general development. Selahmeditate, we discuss on business, mindset, self-development, and peak performance, and everything that's going to help you to succeed in life and in business. So today, I have a very powerful guest beside me here that's going to do justice today's topic. But before I bring him in, I'm just going to do the reading of his brief profile. Ugochukwu Omeogu is a workplace attitude and peak performance expert, a premium business strategist, and a mentor whose mentoring and coaching experience and skills were developed in JP Morgan Chase Bank in the United States, where he was the lead facilitator in performance management review and organizational strategy. Ugochukwu Omeogu has facilitated programs and trained for JP Morgan Chase Bank, USA, Central Bank of Nigeria, American Embassy, Angel Foundation, USA, Zenith Bank PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, EcoBank PLC, Polaris Bank PLC, Bank of Industry, IEI Insurance, Staco Insurance, ExxonMobil, Bank of Industries, Keystone Bank Limited, iSkills, iTech Integrated Software and Systems Limited, Nemeth Pharmaceuticals PLC, TL Financial Services Ghana, amongst others, who he helped in developing their change management and leadership, structural engineering training, and also in the development of their sales and marketing strategy training. He runs private mentoring programs for business and corporate executives of Fortune 500 companies. He is deep in his thought processes, passionate, dynamic, continuous ardent learner, and master of wealth creation process. So guys, make welcome my very powerful guest, Ugochukwu Omeogu. So thank you very much for joining me. This is a very big, very large profile. I want to get the background details. How did it happen to this stage that you're in?
I think that life gives everyone a chance. Okay. So when people talk about background, it looks like the background is a challenge. Meanwhile, it is the knowledge you have that determines what you do with the background. Okay. People are born zero mentality, blank check. Okay. So at the time you're zero, you have neither plus or minus.
Sure.
Okay. If you get a zero right now, if you move towards the positive side, it becomes a plus. If you move towards the negative side, it becomes a minus. Yeah. So my background, in my perspective, is like anybody else's background. But the challenge, the difference here is the things we learn as we grow up determine how you respond to what we call background. Okay. So sometimes people want to say nice things to me, have a physical challenge. You mentioned that when we were talking right today. The physical challenge is not the challenge. The challenge is your mentality, is your disposition to make use of what life throws at you. There are people who don't have physical challenges, but they are still struggling. They are going through hell. There are people who have other challenges that are not physical. It could be an ailment that is not physically shown in their body, but they are going through hell. Nobody sees it.
Yeah.
So challenge to me, like you said, is anything that brings out your best.
Okay, anything that brings out your best.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Yes.
So challenge is bring out your best.
Yes.
Okay.
So the circumstances in itself is neutral. What makes it powerful or a beautiful thing or a bad thing is your mental disposition. Okay. Your perception towards life, your perspective towards life is what determines whether what happens to you is a plus or a minus.
Minus.
Yeah. So all the background you see is a function of me responding according to my vision. Okay. And then just to add to what you're saying, once you have a vision, your life is directed. Once you have a vision, your life is directed. And that direction determines your relationship to anything else. If you're going to a particular direction and someone gives you an opportunity that takes you out of the direction, you find out that even though the opportunity may look good, but you won't take it because it takes you out of your direction.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So certain times you meet circumstances in your direction. Those circumstances will challenge you. You want to figure out a way to come out of that circumstance so you can continue to go further. And most times, those circumstances bring out the best in you because in the process of figuring out what to do, you become wiser, smarter,
sure.
and more and stronger. So yeah.
So walk me through your challenge in polio and how has it shaped your life?
Well, I had polio when I was 1 year, 6 months.
1 year, 6 months.
Yes.
I mean, you weren't born with it.
I wasn't born with polio. I was born like any other child. So, but during the period from what my parents told me, and I saw my birthday picture, my 1 year birthday, there was nothing wrong with my leg.
Okay.
So yeah. But it challenged me because as a little child, my friends would get up and want to go to the stream, go to party, go and play football. So, and I couldn't do those things because they are physical activity. But my mind loved those things. I want to go out and do the same thing my friends do. So, but in the act of doing that, you see challenges, the circumstances that you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I started figuring out, why would anyone stop me from what I desired in my heart? So my mind started plotting means and ways to also make sure that I participate. I'll give an example. When I was in secondary school, when I got to secondary school, my uncle took me to secondary school when I got into the boarding house. Let me use the word my guardian took me to the boarding house. As we got into the boarding house, into the school premises, we passed different hostels. And each of the hostels we are passing, you see young kids playing football in each of the hostels, running around, playing volleyball, throwing basketball, and playing around. So, but I was excited in that environment. But as we're going into the school, my guardian was taking me to a place in the same school where the activity there were quiet, the activity there were low, and I began to see people on cane, like blind people crawling, and then my guardian was taking me towards those people, and I'm like, so that's how he sees me, someone that is physically challenged. Yes, I was physically challenged, but that's how he sees me. But in my mind, I don't see the physical challenge because my mind is complete. My mind picture, the picture of me in my mind does not recognize that my leg is not good, right? So I told my guardian that I'm not going to be here, that this is not meant for me. So I moved my hostel and relocated to where those guys were playing. I moved my things to the place where the regular guys without a physical challenge. Okay, so what happened was, in the place where you have those physical challenged people, the toilet is available, the bathroom is closed, everything they needed was around them. But the new hostel I got to, the bathroom is far away from the hostel.
Wow.
So if you wake up in the morning, you have to take your bucket of water to the place. And there was a big, balcony. I have to jump it. So, and it was difficult for me to do because physically, I couldn't do that. So every morning, I have to ask my friends to help me to take my bucket of water to the bathroom. So they were doing it for me. So I was excited. So one day we're having a meeting in the hostel. An issue came up and I wanted to say something. They asked me to shut up. I said, because they helped me to take my bucket of water to the bathroom. And I'm like, wait, they were supposed to be doing this thing as a function of their friends, as a function of kindness. And I don't remember begging anybody to do it for me. So whenever they see me trying to carry, they help me to do it. So, but I found out that even though I didn't beg them to do that for me, I was still indebted. So what I learned is, anytime someone does something for you, whether you ask for it or not, the law of exchange says that once you receive a value, you must give something in return. So I was not feeling indebted, but I don't remember begging anyone to help me do that. So I said it to myself, no problem. So as my mind was trying to figure out this same challenge now, each time we come back from our holidays, come back with milk, cabin biscuits, sugar, all of those provisions we used to come back with. So I will keep my own. I will not eat it too early. I will keep it. Sooner or later, 2 or 3 weeks later, everybody's own is finished and my own will still be in stock. So each time I see my friends, I say, okay, do you need milk? Do you need gari? Do you need any of those things? So I'll give it to them. So, and then in the morning, they will rush to come and take my bucket to the bathroom. Every morning, you see 3 people, 2, 3, 4, 5 people struggling to carry my bucket. I figured out that if you have something to give to people in return, they'll be willing to trade for that.
That's true.
So that goes to show that circumstances may appear, but the circumstances are neutral. But as you try to overcome the circumstances, it gives you wisdom, it gives you insight, makes you smarter. So my polio is somehow has challenged me to think more, to develop a stronger mental strength, mental acuity. I always think ahead of time. So that was not case number one. Case number two, anytime I go to a place physically, within my physical disposition, I always need someone to open the door for me, to hold the door for me. So I know that's going to happen. For example, if you're here now, let's say we are in a reception, we're about to go out. The natural thing is that when I get there, you want to open the door.
Exactly.
And remember what happened in my secondary school. If you keep opening the door for me, I'll feel indebted.
That's true.
Right? So what I now do, anytime I'm in any situation, I always begin to extend some level of value before the need for the door comes in. So if I'm here and maybe you need water, I need to get you water or apple or try to do something for you, because I know that in the next couple of minutes we're going to walk through that door, and at that time you will gladly return my favor back to me.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So what happened to me physically has challenged me mentally. That I'm always thinking about what is the next alternative to what I don't have physically. So it's actually more of an advantage, because some people who don't have this physical advantage are not challenged. I mean, you can afford to be broke and poor. You can push wheelbarrow.
That's true.
You can do keke napep.
That's true.
You can do moliwe. But I can't.
But
the only option I have is to be rich.
That's
I need
true.
I need to pay for a driver. I need to pay for transportation. So my need to be rich is existential.
That's true.
But you might not worry about being rich because you have legs to hustle, but I don't have. I have to use my brain to make up what I couldn't do physically.
You come from a family of rich parents?
Okay, so it's relative. During my dad's era, he was a very illustrious person.
Okay.
But if you compared what I know today with what my dad knows, my dad wouldn't consider my dad a rich person. That's why I say it's relative. At the time my dad grew up, he was one of the illustrious person in terms of he was okay. I mean, he came from the village. I don't think villagers are poor people. They have cows, they have goats, they have chicken, they have goats, they have land and two barrels. So in that context, you see them being considering rich. But if you zoom out to the bigger picture of the world, the same time they are having cow, goat as riches. Some people are having airplanes, some people are having oil. If you zoom out.
True.
But in that village, okay, so on a bigger scale, I wouldn't say my father was rich. Okay. But if you compare it to his contemporaries in that local environment, he was one of the best.
So that means he provided you with the best education and the best quality of life that you needed growing up.
Well, my dad was educated,
okay,
according to the standard then. But when we got back to my village, because I was born in Embark, when I got back to my village, he didn't have a car to take me to school all the time. So at some point, I wasn't able to go to school. My younger brothers wake up in the morning, dress up, and walk to school in the village. So because we didn't have a car, I could not. Sometimes some people would back me up, but the distance was too long. So I stopped going to school at some point in time.
Wow.
So, but each time my brothers were going to school, I feel so terrible when I'm at home, because I feel like I should be in the same place where they are.
Should be ready.
So what I did at that time was to, before the next morning, I would take the school uniform and soak it inside the water so that nobody goes to school.
Wow.
Because I don't have the energy of them leaving me
behind.
So but what I found out is my desire was to go to school. That's my desire.
Okay.
And so putting their school uniform inside the water didn't make me go to school. So stopping other people from moving forward doesn't allow you to move forward.
That's true.
Does that make sense? Stopping them from moving forward will make you move forward as well.
Yes.
So, you know what I did? Instead of stopping them or putting obstructions in their way, what I did was each time they dress up to go to school, I will also dress up to go to school. I will dress up, eat my breakfast. As we are walking to school, once they get to the gate of my house, my father's house, they will continue going to school. I will stay at that gate. I won't come inside the house. I will stay at the gate by the main road.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be building this sand castle. I'll be putting sand on my leg, drawing things. I will stay there from that 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. when they come back. When they come back, I'll come back with them like we went to school together.
Wow.
So I was doing that every day. So one day, one man was passing through. He stopped by and said, "Gentleman, what are you doing?" He said, "I wanted to go to school." I said, I was crying. That I wanted to go to school. I was crying. And he said, "Okay, where's your dad?" I said, "My dad is inside." So, "Okay, can I talk to your dad?" I said, "No, why not?" So he went and talked to my dad.
Your dad knows you're outside?
Yes, because they know that I can't come back. Once everybody dress up, I dress up. And I'm at the gate. Nothing can make me come back until my friend or my brothers
are coming back.
Yes. So my dad told the young man, the young man told my dad that my school is on the path to his work. That he saw this young man, every day he passes by, he sees me there and all well dressed up. So he can pick me along the way to his work and then he can drop me off of school. Whenever he's coming back, he can also pick me back and drop me off. So you know what I found out? Anytime you are at the gate of your destiny, a helper will come.
Wow.
And then, but you have to be at the gate. You have to be at the point where you are ready. So if I wasn't prepared, an opportunity comes. The man wouldn't have seen me as serious. So being dressed up.
That's true.
Right?
Yes, that was
okay. But when I dressed up, I didn't stay in the house. I came out. I came out where I'll be visible to see that I'm dressed for a place. So sometimes people are not dressed, ready, preparing for where they want to go. Sometimes, most times, you don't have all the answers. But the little opportunity life gives you to prepare, do the best you can. So that those who have the things you don't have, it's easy for them to take you. And I say this to people. Is it easy to help you? What do you do to yourself that helping you becomes easy? If people want to help you, you don't have to carry your life problem. That each time they open anything to help you, more problems come out. That discourages your help. So what do you do to help your helper? So that you're getting yourself ready, preparing, learning, developing yourself, changing your mindset. Pending when someone will be crossing by, say, okay, are you going on my way? Say, yes, please get in.
That's true. Okay?
So, but the young man that took me to school, he didn't go off his course. He was still on his path. So, helping me could be a purpose for him. So, it's not like I'm doing him a favor. He enjoyed the benefit of it. My circumstances presented a purpose for him. So, there are people that God has put in places that what you're going through could be answer to their prayer, the fulfillment of their life.
Yes.
But you have to be ready to be helped.
Yes, that's true. No, at what point did your life begin to get that full closure, turnaround that you really desired, that started helping you out there?
Okay, so the point was, first of all, my physical challenge put a healthy pressure on my brain to figure out the way before there is the need for the way.
Wow.
So while things are normal, I'm thinking, what next? I call it pessimistic optimism.
Pessimistic optimism.
Yes, in a very bad situation, you're preparing for the best.
In a very bad situation, you're preparing for the best.
In a very good situation, you're preparing for the worst. Yes. Pessimistic optimism. If things are working out well, I don't relax. It's okay. This can be for now. So what if it doesn't work out well? So I prepare in case it doesn't work out well. What am I going to do?
Prepared for it.
So I'm always saving extra. I'm always investing extra. I'm always preparing. Should this wonderful thing happening right now doesn't continue to happen, what do I do?
What do you do next?
So I prepare. That's pessimistic optimism. What if things are bad now? What do I do in case the opportunity for me to be better comes up? So to answer that question, my physical challenge challenges my mind. At one point, I get to know that I have to always be on top of my game. Was one day I was driving along Wedra Road in Owerri, Imo State. Okay. I was driving. A brand new car was coming in front of me. This car was brand new, coming in front of me at full speed. All of a sudden, the tire of this car busted.
Wow.
The back tire went poof. Wow. So, but right there, it was like I was in a trance. My mind, some kind of a consciousness, like some kind of a Holy Spirit told me to observe what's going to happen. So I started watching consciously, what you call metacognition, being aware of what's happening around you. So it's like I was now watching a movie. So the driver, struggled with the car a little bit and then pulled over by the shoulder of the road. The driver of the car, the car is brand new, terrible.
Yeah.
He pulled over by the shoulder of the road and came out of the car. And then went back to the back of the car and opened the trunk and brought out the spare tire of that car from inside the car. Meanwhile, the car was brand new and had a bad tire.
Wow.
And then when he got out the spare tire, I'm like, oh my goodness. So if man, in his little wisdom, can build a car, and while the car is still brand new in the factory, it has not come out. The man puts a spare tire in the brand new car that has 4 tires. Knowing that there's a possibility of that car, once he leaves the factory, something can happen to it. Don't you think that God, in his infinite wisdom, has put a spare ability inside of us. Should something happens to our physical activities, physical capacity, that something God has put as a spare.
As a spare.
And remember, we are the offspring of God. We are made in the image and the likeness of God. So the person that builds a brand new car, when the car is still brand new, with brand new tires, and still put a spare, it's an attribute of God.
That's true.
To prepare and provide extra for you, should what I have, something happens to it. So I'm like, wow. So guess what happened? When that man came out of the car and brought the spare tire from the car, he now removed that one and put that one back. I'm like, okay, so if I have a disadvantage physically, something happens to me. I have to come out of the situation and remove myself from that situation and look at it objectively. And then go into myself and bring out the spare to make up for what has happened. You know what I found? Whatever I lose physically, I make up mentally.
Whatever you lose physically, you make up mentally.
I'll give you another story. When I served in my youth service, during the youth service, I was the only guy on crutches. So they were wondering, what am I doing there? Because it's supposed to be a physical activity. The rope, the endurance trekking, all of those activities. It's supposed to be a physical thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're wondering what this guy on crutches is doing here. So I asked him a question. I said to them, when you go for endurance trekking, there's your headgear, your clothes, some of the things you have has to be put somewhere while you guys are trekking. Who will take custody? Who will monitor it? Does it require a leg?
Not at all.
See, so I always find a place where my mind creates an opportunity for me to be useful in the grand scheme of things.
Wow.
And then one remarkable thing happened in NYSC. We had Alawi issue. We weren't paying Alawi well. At that time, it was delayed. And then the food in that camp was rubbish. And it was the military men that actually, superintendent, they supervise what happens in the camp. So we started doing protesting. I said to them, I'm going to lead this protest. They said, how? They said, there's a likelihood the military people will get physical with you because you guys have legs. So they're going to see you with a lot of energy. There might be a tendency to shoot or
get physical.
But when they see me with my physical, they will let their guards down. They cannot listen to us. So when we come out to the field, as soon as I come to the front and I raise my crutches, everybody should sit down. It will remove them being ready to shoot or kill.
Wow.
Then their mind will be ready to listen to us.
Wow. You know why I ask all of these questions? There are many people with a disability, like they see them on the road, on the street. Most people immediately just see that they have one or two disabilities. But the first thing that comes to their mind is to go straight and beg and all of that. So how are you able to do it? Some people will say maybe you have some opportunities from parents, background, and all of that. At what point did you have your first big break that set you up?
Okay, so disability is not what happens on the physical level. I mean, those people are not disabled. They are just lazy.
They are not disabled. They are just lazy.
Lazy. Laziness is not a physical thing. Laziness is a mental thing.
Wow.
If you can't read and study, if you can't think a thought and hold a thought long enough for that thought to become an idea and convert that idea to value and convert the value to service, you're a lazy person.
Wow.
But there are so many hard-working, lazy people.
Hard-working, lazy.
Yes. They are physically masking their laziness because they're not thinking. So they see a lot of physical things. Each time you see them, they're always trying to show, move around, that thing is trying to mask the fact that they are not intellectually sound enough to create a process, devise a means, a tool, a system that can allow them to be more productive without being physically available. And if you check it, the lion is one of the most physically strong animals.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is still naked.
And it's true.
Yeah, but human beings have built skyscrapers. We go to the height of 3,000 feet, not with our wings, or with a tool we design that flies there. We go to the depth of the sea, not with our fin, or with submersible. We travel to the middle of an ocean, not by swimming, but by machines that we create through our mind. So I said this to you. The person, two things I'm going to give you. I was in a program at Lagos Television, and I was supposed to speak in this event. And there's another person that was supposed to speak at that event. He's one of the popular speaker, public speaker. So, but this guy is a public speaker, but he's not on crutches. But that event was for people with disability, wheelchair, crutches, blind, deaf and dumb, blah blah blah. And I was supposed to speak on that event, so I showed up. And these guys, we are listening to this guy that has no crutches, not a wheelchair. And I'm shocked. So when it was my turn, I asked the young man, have you been on crutches before? He said, no. Have you been on wheelchair? He said, no. So how do you know the power to stand up with wheelchair? I thought I'd be speaking to people who didn't give up last night, woke up this morning, in spite of their circumstances, and you're the one motivating them. Something is wrong here.
Yes.
Because if you go, who knows, if you go through 2% of what these guys have gone through to wake up this, so you probably won't be sitting here. And I talk to the people, you guys are really, something was wrong with you guys. This guy has not even gone through 2% physically challenge that you guys have gone through. How come he's the one motivating? Let him go through crutches and wheelchair and still be able to make it alive, and then he can come and speak to us.
Wow.
Are you getting my point?
That's true.
Okay. So it is not so much about the physical challenge as it is about the mental progress. Sometimes I'm in my driver on top Milan, but you see full-grown men, 6-packs, selling bakery.
Wow.
I mean, with their head on their shoulder, muscles. And they're running around selling plantain chips, selling all these things. So those people are physically disabled.
Wow. Mentally disabled.
Physically disabled because their body is useless. So everybody has a brain, but not everybody has a mind.
Everybody has a brain.
Yes.
Not everybody has a mind.
Yes. Even dead people have brains. The brain is the gray matter in your skull. Those white tissue, if you open your skull right now, see a brain. If somebody is dead, if you open the skull of a dead man, you still see a brain. But mind is the essence of the brain, functioning to think, to create, to imagine. So not every brain is imagining.
Wow.
So when your brain is not creating, somebody whose brain is creating will employ you or will enslave you or will oppress you. Do you get my point?
That's true.
So I need you to get the fact that if your leg has issue, doesn't mean your mind is not functioning. Matter of fact, your legs is not meant for wealth creation, it's your mind. Your leg is to walk around your house. Your brain is meant for travel. So you travel in the mind, you walk around with your legs. And how far can you go with your legs? Okay, but let's say, for example, let's go to the east today. It's about 8 hours. 8 hours.
Yes.
You go with your leg, I go with my car. So I sit down, invent a car, build a car, and I'll see, let's go. And you start walking to the east, and I travel my car. Who'll get there first?
You, of course.
And by the time you get there, you're already dead. Okay, you get tired. You use this one to get there. But if I take some time to invent a tool that help me to leverage and navigate the world, I will be more effective than those who use their physical bodies.
Have you encountered any form of rejection because of physical challenge and all of that? And how do you deal with it?
Yeah, yes, I do. But I don't think it's peculiar to me because there's so many issues people meet. People meet a lot of rejections on different things. Okay, so I'm not narrowing it down to yes, I have. But it's not special. It's not anything unique. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody who rejects me is blind to what I can do. So that person is a blind person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a superstar. Like I'm someone that can create, I build things. I now see my reject me physically.
Yes.
You need psychiatric treatment to be able to see the potential I have. And that's why when people see your circumstances, they have pity on you. And when they see your value, they have respect for you. I come in with wheelchair. As I say, hello, ladies and gentlemen, the way you read all those wonderful things. Yes. They're not clapping for me as I'm coming in wheelchair. Some people are like, hey, yeah, sorry. By the time I struggle, get on the stage and I open my mouth and start speaking, they start being sorry for themselves. The area was because my value has not been expressed. And that's why I said, the world don't pay you for what you know. The world pays you for what you express. There's so many potential that are unexpressed that is still in every human being. But when you develop those things and make it available for mankind and it becomes useful to mankind, what the natural response to value used is resources received. So once you have your book written and promote the book, read it, guess what? They buy the book.
That's true.
There's a lot of people with unwritten books in their lives.
Wow, so that means all the way growing up, you just know that you're going to work with your brain. You don't see yourself disabled at all. You don't see.
But What do you mean? I don't understand.
I mean, you don't see yourself. You have never imagined yourself that you don't have any form of ability not to do something. So long you know your mind can imagine it, I can create it.
It's no brainer. That's it. You know, sometimes people create limitation through language. First of all, the day you are born, right?
Yes.
Your brain is developing your organs. So you have what is called central nervous system.
Yes.
Okay. At this here, what's called C1, that's cervical. You have C1, C2, C3, C4. That's your vertebrae.
Yeah.
Okay. So right here, you have your central nervous system. So call it wires. This is the junction box. The wires come out of your brain and connect to your hand, connect to your legs, connect to everywhere. So each time I pinch you, your body sends a sensory signal to your brain. Then you take your hands off because the nerve is connected. Right? So I pinch you right now. What do you do to your hand? To take it up. Yes. Why? Because the nerve is connected. But what if I cut off this hand? Does it mean the sensor is not working? It's still there. So your brain sees you as a whole. It doesn't see the leg cut off. If I cut this leg off, the nerve, the wire is still there. So what's called mind image. Your brain sees you as a complete human being. Even when you cut your two legs off, the file that developed as a human being is still there complete. I don't think you get what I'm saying.
I get that very well. I get
my point?
Yes.
So your brain still sees you as a complete human being. So even though this leg is cut off, it is you that is on the outside that is seeing that I'm walking. So I don't know I'm walking somehow. It is you that when I see your face, that's what's wrong with this guy. I don't look at the mirror. Oh, okay, that's the way I'm walking. But I don't know I'm walking like I get up like anybody else, walk like anybody else, because the nerves are still working, even when the leg is not really moving. But my brain doesn't have a broken leg picture in my head. Wow. It is your reaction that tried to tell me, this guy's walking some kind of way. And I look at your face, it's disgusting, and it shows how ignorant you are. Then I'm like, yeah. Physically, I'm like this. Mentally, I'm complete. So when you say disabled, it's not.
Now, you worked at JP Morgan Chase.
Yes.
How did it happen?
It's through mentorship.
Okay.
When I got to the United States, everybody told me that I couldn't get a full job like a graduate, because I didn't go to university in America. That's what people told me in America when I got to America. So, but then, I've always learned that my brain controls my life. Your brain is the command center. Your legs and your hands are the accessories.
Yes.
If your brain is not working, your hands and your legs are useless, right?
Sure.
And knowledge makes a man unfit for slavery. Once you have knowledge, it's difficult for anyone to be tempted to want to enslave you. Slavery happens when your faculties are not working. Then you become gullible. People can actually say, okay, you stand up, you go and sit down here, and you can't defend yourself. So that temptation, okay, so this guy cannot use his brain, let me not use his head. I get my point. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I got to the US, everybody was saying, you didn't go to university in America, you can't get a job in America. So they were like, I can get jobs like McDonald's, all those fast food. And then by design, God says, soft hustling is not for me. So I can't even get those kind of jobs, even if I want to, because I'll be disqualified. Those jobs require muscles and physical strength. So I started going to the library. So I live in the library every day. When I wake up in the morning, I go to the library. So in the library is where I found that most nations that are developed, if you want to understand how to penetrate to the consciousness of that country, go to the library where they store all of their history. So it was the library that the librarian told me that I need to get a career coach. They will show me how to navigate the corporate America. But the library that told me I need to get it. Do I have a coach? I said no. Do I have a mentor? I said no. So it's the library that you can get all of that. So now, before the library, when I got to the US, they offered me a housing. They have this mass housing for people that are not employed.
Okay.
So I rejected it. I didn't take it. You were wondering why I didn't take it. Because when you get into any country, they'll process you in. If you want to get a job, go to what they call Texas Workforce Commission, like a job center. They will register you, do all of the things to make sure you get a job, because the unemployment you'll be getting is for a while until you get a job. And if you're not seeking for a job actively, they won't continue to pay the unemployment. So you have to show that you're looking for a job for you to get your unemployment. And one of the benefits they offered me was to give me a housing. Do I have a place I can stay and all of that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I rejected the housing offer, the welfare housing offer. Welfare means that the government is supporting you. So when I signed the paper and they said no, that I have a place I can stay, like my sister's place, the white folks were shocked that people really don't reject that. So the next day, they came to my house to be sure that I knew what I was saying.
Wow.
So, and when they come, they asked me that to be sure that I didn't want the housing. I said yes, but they said, please, we just ask you why. I said to them, the mindset for welfare is not the mindset for wealth creation. The mindset to receive handout without you creating value for that handout does not support creating wealth.
Wow.
They were really shocked. So what they offered me is every day they sent a bus to my sister's house to now take me for my job hunting. And my librarian told me to go get a career mentor. So I got my career mentor.
Wow.
So my mentor told me. You're talking about how I got my job, right?
Yes.
He said, go, you can get a job anywhere in any organization as far as you went to university. I said, okay, but I didn't go to university in America. He said, it doesn't matter. See, he said, for every philosophy, there is a policy. So what does that mean? He said, philosophy create policies, and policy create rules. So, okay, sir, that sounds very calm. What does that mean? Remember, I was a brand new guy in America.
Sure, yeah.
So I tried to ask him to explain. He said to me that the philosophy of America is that any human being that goes through 16 years of institutionalized education can perform certain tasks. So the issue is that your mind has gone through an institutionalized training with certain exposure, with certain knowledge for 16 years. At the 16th year, it is believed that your mind can comprehend certain concepts and it can be able to do certain things. So that level, it doesn't matter which part of the world you are. As far as there's proof that you have attended certain courses for the next 6, 10, 12, 16 years. So the policy is that now that you must attend university, the philosophy says you must do 16 years of institutionalized education. So in the policy in America is university. Universally, it's representing that 16 years has gone through institutionalized education.
Wow.
So I said, what does that mean? He said, if you can send us, if your school in Nigeria can send us a transcript to prove that you have gone through 4 years of accounting, if the school sends it to another institution in America and the two of them agree that this guy's mind has been exposed, you can use that same degree to apply for a job in America like anybody else that's a graduate in America.
Wow.
And there'll be no discrimination.
Wow. Wow.
I said, oh my God.
Wow.
So I called my school. My school sent my transcript to a company in the US called ECE, Educational Credential Evaluators. They evaluated my transcript and came up with a professional summary that Mr. Ugochukwu Omeogu has an equivalent of US degree in accounting. So they sent me copies. I paid for copies. So they gave me copies. 2 of the copies were put in an envelope and sealed and said not valid if seal is broken. And they gave me 1 extra. Now, meanwhile, that's what my mentor told me. So I said that. Now, I started attending mentoring classes, job hunting, career development. So my mentor can only get paid by the government if I get a job. So the only time he sends a bill to the government to pay him for the mentorship is when what he has taught me has landed me in a job. So the system has a way of empowering people to be empowered, right?
Okay.
So I sent my transcript to the school, to the company. They transcribed it. And my mentor now did a CV for me. My name is Ugochukwu Omeogu, okay? So my mentor said, in that career counseling, said, if you put Ugochukwu Omeogu, most American employers would not want to mess your name up. They probably will not look at your CV because they don't know how to call your names.
Okay.
So he added Charles to my name. So he said, my gave me a nickname, Charles. So my name became Ugochukwu Charles Omeogu. The Charles is in parentheses.
Wow.
Just like how Jackie Chan.
Yes.
Jackie Chan. Chan is a long name. It's like 16 words. So the American always find a way to shorten it. So we started attending the career course, career training. So he did my CV. My CV had undocumented primary school Aba, Holy Ghost College Owerri, Imo State University. then served in Central Bank. That's all my CV. That's all I had before I moved to America. No work experience except my educational qualifications. So my mentor, after teaching me all this concept, I did some kind of training on how to type without looking at the keyboards. All those skills preparing me for the job market in the United States. So one day they were having a job fair. You know what job fair? Job fair. Job fair is when you have like have trade fair. So job fair in this context means companies in the local area will come and recruit the people in that area. For example, we have Zenith Bank, GT Bank, Fidelity Bank here, right? So they can come in this area and then open up a small window to hire people around this area because they don't want to hire you in the VI where you're going to be doing transportation.
Okay.
So they can do job fair in Ikeja, job fair in Surulere. So they will hire the local people there.
People within the environment.
Yes. So they, after doing the job fair, my mentor took me there. But first of all, he asked me, and I was barely 3 months in America, what kind of company do you want to work with? And I'm like, I don't understand. I can work anywhere. I've just came to America, right? I said, no. Do you want to work in Fortune 500 companies? First of all, what is that? That's the top 1%. Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, all the Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all those
top of the top.
Yes. And my resume is Dr. from high school, only those college, Imo State University. That's my resume. And then, so that's what mentorship is powerful.
Wow.
A mentor can elevate your thoughts beyond your circumstances.
Wow. Elevate your thought beyond your circumstances.
Yes. So he's letting you leverage on his view of life. So you might not see as far as he sees, but he sees your potential. He's the one preparing me. He's the one who knows what I can do. I don't know much all I can do. He knows what is possible for me, even when I'm not aware of it. He says to me, there's a clause in American job opportunities. That's what's called equal opportunity employer. No employer will discriminate you until they have given you an opportunity to prove yourself.
Wow.
He understands all these things.
Wow.
So now he did my CV and then prepared my CV. And I said, okay, well, I should now do JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley. Okay. That's okay. Let's do it. Right? So he took me to the interview. On the interview, the job fair, we have all the white people, just top of the line, world class. And I'm this local Abba boy from Imo State University. I've never traveled before in my life.
Wow.
And so when with the job fair, my mentor said to me, you go to the place that you want. If it's JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, take your CV, go and submit it to the HR, because these are HR people there. Submit your CV there. And when you submit your CV, shake the hands of those agents there. Hold their hands so well that it becomes ridiculous. Don't leave their hands. And when it becomes so awkward and ridiculous, that's when you're going to take your hands off.
Wow.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm so scared talking to these guys that are top there, and then I'm going to hold their hands. I'm going to hold their hands so well, so long that it becomes stupid and awkward. So I said, okay, no problem. So when I put my CVs, he goes behind each of the people. So if you're the one for Wells Fargo or Bank of America, he goes behind you. And he told me each time I'm holding those hands, I should make sure I make eye contact with him, because he knew I was nervous. So I went with him. And he said to me, put your CV on any of the agents you want. And these are top world, top class, Fortune 500 companies. And he said, but each time I put that thing on any of the agents, and he goes behind the agent, I should shake their hands and I should look at him each time I lose strength. So meanwhile, I felt that the ground should open for me to just swallow there, because I was sweating actually. Wow. So I put my CV, I hold you. My name is Ugochukwu Omeogu, and today is Wednesday, and the grass is green outside. The birds are. My brain has to manufacture what to say so that I can keep on holding hands. And at some point, it becomes so awkward and so ridiculous. The person will have to take their hands out. And I'm so scared.
So shaky.
My mentor will move to the next person, ask me to go to the next person. I'm still trying to catch my breath from the first one. He's asking me to go to the next one. I was shaking, literally shaking, visibly
shaking,
vibrating. So I did all of that. So I came out. I said, sir, that was worse than that.
Wow.
So you know what he said to me?
No.
So every other person that came there for that particular job fair acted normal. Everybody was the same thing. You're possibly the only person that is odd. And what that means is when they leave that place, they say, do you remember that young man? Something is wrong with him. It's crazy. And guess what? This is what's his name. You gotta look at your file and bring out your resume and put it on top.
Wow.
So which means amongst all the people that came out, my mentor made sure I stood out.
Wow.
So we left. They now called me for interviews. How did they call me for interview? I came back to the house, my sister's house. One day, because I'm checking the phone. My sister had this voice note. Voice note you can call, and then people leave a voice note for you on the phone. So each time I'm coming back, go out and come back, I check the voice note. So one day I came back and I pressed the phone, I checked the voice note. I heard, hello, Mr. Charles, this is Kathy Woods from JP Morgan. Please do give us a call if you're ready for interview tomorrow, Thursday by 10 a.m. So,
wow.
I didn't think anything about it. I went to bed. 12 a.m. I remembered my name was Charles.
I totally forgot.
My name is not Charles. I didn't remember. It was 12 a.m. I remember. I called my mentor 12 a.m. in the morning. I said, Mr. Charles Lafontaine, I got a call by JP Morgan. They asked me to come for interview tomorrow. And I don't know what to do. He said, no problem. Said, relax. And my mentor told me, each time I call you, make sure you have a pen and paper to write. Because my words to you are instructions, not advice. I said, what's the difference? Advice you can choose to take. But instructions you must follow.
You must follow.
That's classical. Wow. That's classical. So I took a pen and paper that morning and I started writing. I said, okay, when you get to the office, to the interview, before they ask you any question, I should ask them what are the job function for that particular role. I should make sure I ask that question. And he has already told me that interview is a mutual discussion for mutual benefits. They're trying to figure out how they can be of use to you, how you can be of use to them. So they're not doing you a favor. They need you. But when I came back to Nigeria, interviews like you're going to heaven. Job interviews like people go to do fasting and prayer.
That's true.
Do Thanksgiving. Like somebody's about to go.
Wow.
But it's a mutual relationship. Okay. So if I get there, I should ask them what is the job function for the position that's been advertised. And guess what? When they're telling you the job function, that I should write the things they're telling me down. I said, okay. He said, because in the course of the interview, there's a particular question that they will ask you. They must ask you that. They would ask you, tell us what you can do for us. So I should repeat those things they told me as the job function as what I'm going to do for them.
Wow.
So I got there.
Wow.
And the way it is, remember during the career training, he has developed my skills on how to type, how to evaluate, financial books and all that.
Wow.
So when I got to the place, there's a place you get to. There's nobody, you're not going to see anyone. The reception, nobody's there. You just press a bell. They'll speak to you through the intercom and ask you, there's a computer at the lobby. Please click the computer and do the test. You don't see anyone.
Wow.
And then when you get there, the test will show up. But I've done the practice for the test. So I get there, the system will open up and the system will give you maybe 10 minutes.
You were ready.
If you don't do it in 10 minutes, the system will log you out. And when the system logs you out, the voice will tell you, sorry, you didn't meet the criteria.
Wow.
But when I got there, everything they were asking me, my mentor has already prepared me.
Wow.
So I got there and I opened the system, thinking by touch, typed, and then answered the questions. Once I asked the questions and the system says successful, the door opened, somebody came out. Coming. So which means if you were not competent enough, the system kicks you out without emotional attachment.
Without emotional attachment.
Anybody. Because you're not going to see anyone. So when I finished it, somebody opened the door and asked me to come in. And I saw 2 white women and 1 white guy and 1 black guy. And then interview started. Meanwhile, during my course of my career, I've improved my spoken English. I have to learn about American English, the dictions on how to, pronounce some of the words for American people. All of those things were preparing me for what is ahead of me. So during the interview, Of course, the first one I asked you, hello, ma'am, good morning. Please, may I know what is the job function for the position that's advertised? As they were saying, I said, please give me a moment. I was writing everything down. So we got into the conversation, interview was going back and forth. And then finally, it came to the same question. So tell us what you can do for us.
Wow.
And guess what I did?
You said the same thing.
I just repeated exactly what they said. That's what I'm going to do for them. And that's how I got my job with JP Mortgages back in the United States.
This is so interesting. This is so interesting. Wow. That mentor must have been now mentorship. How did you get to know him? Because most people talk about, I want to get the right mentor, because some people know, say mentorship, maybe this mentor is not going in the right direction. How did it happen for you? Were you able to get the right mentor?
So there are three types of mentorship. There are general mentors, where your pastor or your uncle, somebody in your life can just generally be there for you about life issues.
Yeah.
There are subject matter expert mentors, people who are very good at a particular area of life. If you want to be a pilot, you have a pilot as a mentor. If you want to be an engineer, if you want a career to grow up in a particular job environment, there are people who are already living the life you desire. Those people can be subject matter expert mentor. Okay? But my background is in finance and wealth creation and business development. So I can't mentor someone on marriage. I cannot mentor someone on farming. So subject matter expert mentor is finding people who are successful in an area of interest. They can now guide you. That's what's called corporate mentors, which people who bring one or two people together on a particular project and guide you on how to be successful. So having said that, a lot of people in Nigeria don't have mentors. What they have is godfathers. So a godfather cannot explain to you how he built his process.
Wow.
He wants you to worship him. He wants you to adore him. But a mentor is interested in your growth process. And that's why anyone that has not built anything cannot mentor somebody. Because it is only in what you built and have wisdom of the process. So for America, there are mentors everywhere. There are about, when I was working in JP Mortgages back, we found out there were about 4,500 mentoring units in the United States.
Wow.
All the big people you see, they have young people they are mentoring. And you can see what took Bill Gates 5, 15, 20 years, take Mark Zuckerberg 4 years because of this kind of relationship. So they have people that are already there for them. So in the US, the librarian is the person that actually told me to get a mentor, get a career mentor, get a business mentor. So there are a list of them. Okay. And those people are there to share the experience, guide you, you know.
You pay them for that service?
Yeah, you pay for the services.
So that means when you go to America, you have to look for that mentor and pay for it.
There's real stuff there.
Wow.
But in this case, the government was paying him as part of helping them reduce unemployment. So when government allows you, appropriates you to a particular mentor or career mentoring program, they can only pay him at that particular program that I did. If someone is mentored to the point they get the job and the person has now taken off unemployment list, you can send your bill in.
Okay. So that means that one, it could be anybody.
Yes, it could be anybody.
There wasn't like discrimination and all of that for them. That mentor could be a white man.
Yes, my mentor was a white man. So
now,
I'm telling that for the time. And I want to say this.
Okay.
A mentor does not take away the process. He simply shows you the right steps.
Doesn't take away the process.
Yes.
Shows the right step.
Yes.
What's the difference?
A mentor does not cut off process for you. You must still walk through the process.
Okay.
If I built a car and I want to mentor you, I will show you the processes I took to build the car. So I must have made mistakes and it took me like 5 years to build the car. It will take you 2 years because you're definitely going to avoid my mistakes and focus on the steps that are necessary for the success.
Okay.
So most time people are looking for mentors in Nigeria. They're looking for shortcuts. They're looking for a way to avoid process. And that's why a mentor's result is not what should inspire you. What should inspire you is the mentor's discipline. The discipline is the process and the instructions that led to the result you're seeing. If you bypass the discipline and the process, even when the mentor gives you the result, you cannot sustain it. So it's the process that builds the discipline to sustain the success. So when young people come to me, most of them, they are not really looking for this process. They just want to get this. Just want to cut soup for me.
Soup. That's true. God soup. Now, let's come back to life now. What are some of the biggest roadblocks most people face in life when it comes to achieving their goals?
So for Africa, let me use what Africa is bad education. Most of
Bad
us,
education.
you remember when you are born with zero.
Yes, true.
Any step you take, is that wrong or right? So if you are born in a family where your parents are poor people, when they poor people, they have no knowledge about life
At all.
They have no any company they have built. They are struggling with life. Most of us were born into families when our parents they are struggling with life. They don't even know what they want to do. They just happen to come out of chemistry, biological reaction. Mommy, daddy came back tired. Mommy feeling good. The meds, had sex, and then that's how you showed up. It wasn't a predetermined. Like I built a system. I want a success. It wasn't like that. It was just you were just like a chemical, biological reaction that came out of two people having fun.
That's true. That's true.
It makes sense.
Yes. It makes
so
sense.
And then the next day, the man goes out. The woman goes out, and the little child is figuring out what to do with his life. At the end of the day, you're now 18 years old. So the stumbling block was there before you became who you are.
Wow.
So you have been going through the wrong exposure, the wrong mentality, wrong incidences, wrong environment. So it has been putting together for the next 15, 20. So at 25 years old, something's telling you should have been better than this. But you never suspected the mindset, suspected government, policy, so you're suspecting everything else. You're never suspecting that you must have been grown up in the wrong way. You start going to church, I see the one that caused it. But there are people in the same country. They were born at the same year.
Wow.
But they are doing very well.
Very well.
Everything you say that is happening.
That's happening.
Bad government, no road,
bad policies,
but
everything.
People are still in the same country, born in the same country, and they are doing
so
very
great.
well, building companies and succeeding. So you find that it's no longer the environment that determines whether or not you're good or bad. It is the interpretation of what happens to life that gives you power, not what happened in life.
Wow. It is the interpretation
of what happens that gives you power or takes your power, not what happens. So what that means is, so if I put coffee in this cup right now, okay, and I put coffee, and then someone comes and then shakes you, and the coffee pours away. What caused the coffee to pour away?
Person that shakes me.
Okay. What if I remove the coffee and put water, and the person, somebody fucks you or pushes you? What caused the thing to pour?
The same pushing.
Okay. What if there's nothing in the cup? So for the cup to come out?
Nothing.
So what makes the water to come out? Or the coffee to come out?
Because the person pushing.
That's not true. What poured on you was coffee. It's because what you had inside is coffee. What poured on you was water. Because water is what you have. Now, when something happens to you, it's what is inside that will come out.
I get it now.
Do you get it now? So it is what is inside the cup that poured on you, not the person. Because if there was nothing in the cup, the person will quack you, nothing will pour on you.
Nothing will pour.
So it is what you put inside life that circumstances bring out. So if I have been built with knowledge of wealth, knowledge of investment, and something happens to me, what will happen? What is inside will come out.
Wow. So interesting. Wow. That's true.
Do you get my point?
Yes.
So if your father is Dangote, or your father is Kostaris, your father is Elon Musk, your father is Bill Gates, and they raised you with investment mentality, business mentality, and then somebody now duped you, come out, they think they're not employing you, what would you naturally do? You would create like your father. But what if you were born in a family where your dad is working 9 to 5, your mom is working 9 to 5, they say things are difficult. Everybody said nothing is working. Nigeria is bad. Africa is dead. And that's what you're learning. And then when you come out of their life, and then somebody now fires you from a job, say something back to you, it is what is inside
that comes out.
The same thing that happens to me, what is inside will come out. So when you say obstacle, and that's why poverty is instrumental. It doesn't happen at a distance. The poverty has started when you were a little child, 2 years, 3 years, they have been, indoctrinating you. Maybe the day you were born, out of two, your dad and your mom were poor people. Poor people means, poverty does not mean lack of money. It means lack of the knowledge on how to create money.
Lack of knowledge how to create money.
Yes, it's lack of knowledge that causes the poverty. So when you don't have money, it's a symptom. of lack of knowledge. Of how wealth is created. So when I say poor, please don't think so, because poverty, listen, poverty is lack of knowledge in the proper context. Poverty is lack of knowledge in the proper context of health, wealth, and relationship. So there are people that are poor in health. They eat the wrong food. They don't have the knowledge of how to eat the right food. So people are sick, not because of lack of food, because they can eat the wrong food and they cause themselves sickness. People are poor not because of lack of money. They don't have the knowledge of how to create value that makes money. Because when they say, oh, this country is poor, there are some people that are rich. They are not doing like bad things. They are not Yahoo people. They are not 419. They are not kidnappers. They are billionaires in every right in the same country. So if you want to stop poverty, go to the root. Let the knowledge of how to create wealth be embedded as a way of life.
Sure.
Most times when people go to seminar, it's out of poverty.
Out of poverty?
Yeah.
People go to seminar?
Yes. Because things are not working. So let's say if you go to this seminar, but the things that made you poor was not done in a seminar. It was done in your family, your church, your village, your uncle, your friends, your family. So the things you learned was not in a seminar. It came out of your normal daily living activity. So how can seminar stop what has happened 25 years ago?
The seminar is meant to teach you the knowledge.
Teaching brings awareness. It can only expose that this is possible. But when you leave the seminar, your file in your brain has been learning the wrong things for the last 18 years. So somebody not come and talk to you on stage and then your life is changed. No. What happened to you was not what you heard and learned. It's what you saw, what you witnessed, what you experienced, what you learned. So over the years, it has been adding up to the level where it is now manifesting. So you can't talk yourself out of what you behaved yourself in. So my point is, the day you were born, the first set of people that receive you on the earth affected how you think. So when you're born into a child, they now brought you from hospital, they start shouting, hey, my child is born. Who are these people? Mom and dad. Who are they? Poor people. So the first set of people that receive you are poor people. The first instruction you received was a poverty instruction. And then they now call their friends, who are also poor people. They all came together and ate the little food they have invested for your life. They finished the food, drank, and left. And they even forget the name of the person they came to see. And then, remember your primary school. The people that taught you in primary school, were they rich people? Just remember your primary school teachers. They were just broke, poor people. And they were talking to you every day. A for apple, B for the... They were not teaching you to learn to become wealthy. They were teaching you to get salary at the end of the month. And they were trading. So those things were happening to you on a daily basis. That's like a cultism. That's indoctrination. That's brotherhood. Wow. Then remember, these are realities. I want you to remember your secondary school. Who are the people? Were they rich people? Those teachers, they were talking to you every day. They were not rich people. At all. And they did it for 6 years. So primary school, 6 years of poverty indoctrination, 6 years of poverty indoctrination in secondary school, that's 12 years. Now the worst, the grandmaster of them all is the university in Africa. There's hardly any researchers. Now, handout. I don't know if you went to university in this country. Handout. All these kind of things. They did it for 4 years. And why is it so bad? When you were teaching you in school, during your mock exam and during your final exam, or during your exams and semester exams, anytime you write anything outside what they taught you, they'll fail you. So they have made you to learn that it's only cramming that determines what you pass. That's true. So your thinking is no longer necessary. They gave you a handout, you study the handout. You're expected to write exactly what is written. But even when you read more than what is written, the man that is teaching you doesn't have the time to think about outside the box. So it's marking you to write what you learned. So your brain has been told to remember what you learned, not to see what is changing. So the day you now come out of school, why do you naturally want to look for a job? Because it's only in job that you are expected to give you a job description. You now write it. Job description 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So you now say, this is my job. So anytime something changes, a circumstances happens in the workplace, you say, but that's not my job, because your training model says do only what you're asked to do. If when things change, don't think. That's why when you lose your job, you can't start a business. Because your training process in school only guarantees you to stay in a place where everything has already predetermined before it happens. Wow. So why do people struggle in business? I speak to a customer in the morning about my product, right? Remember my school say, if I speak to you about my product and you tell me you get back to me, and when my customer comes to me in the evening, he said he has bought another one. But I told you. And if my customer, me, as a person who went through the normal cramming process in school, does not recognize that customer I spoke to in the morning, other people have spoken to the same customer, that what I spoke to him has already been changed. So when I meet my customer by 8 a.m., it's not the same customer by 12 p.m. Because what I said to him has been changed by what has happened to him between 8 and 12. But my mind is not configured to recognize change as part of life process. So I'm still expecting, I told you in the morning now. No, that time he left, he has seen different type of product. And when I'm saying by 12, I have to update his knowledge for his decision to be made.
Wow. Now, how can you build a growth-oriented mindset?
So growth is first of all, let's define growth. Okay, let's define mindset. Let's define mentality. So these words we're throwing, remember, there is an indoctrination of life. So it's not what happens, it's your interpretation.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say growth, now I found out that two people can be in the same business, in the same job, with the same resources at the same time, and they'll have two different results. Which means we can come into Lagos at the same time. The same governor is over our Lagos state, right? The same governor in the same state, and then we start business in the same Alaba. Two of us will have two different results, even though the circumstance is the same. The difference is our mentality. It's what determines how we respond, not the environment itself. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now, life does not reward you according to your effort. Life rewards you according to your definition. Life rewards you according to your orientation. Life rewards you according to your knowledge. So it's the same word, I'm giving different synonyms. Life does not reward you according to the effort you put in. Life rewards you according to the knowledge behind the effort you put in. So effort is a common denominator. Knowledge is a differentiator. So all man makes effort, but not all effort leads to result. So whether you're a poor man, you make effort. If you're a rich man, you make effort. But not all the effort you make leads to the result you want. I'm trying to define growth mindset.
Yes.
So there are two levels of definitions. The first one is statutory, which is defining something for what it is. Second one is functional, which is defining something by reason of application. Statutory definition is defining something for what it is. What is this?
Cup.
Cup, great. If I break your head with it, what would you call it?
You break my head.
What would you call it?
It has become a weapon.
Correct.
Broke my head.
So statutorily, it's a cup. It is meant for drinking water. So that's a cup, right?
Yes.
Now, what if the first time someone meets this item, somebody walks into this hall now, to this studio, and this is the first time he's seeing this, and the first time he's seeing it is being used to kill people. What would you call it statutorily?
Weapon.
You call it a weapon. So it's possible you have made good concept in a bad context. It's also possible you made money in the wrong context. The first people that introduce the concept of money to you determines how you see money. If you are born in a poor family and it's poor people, the way they use money determines how you see money. If you start, that child is taken to another family born by different parents, and if you see money in a different context, it will determine how you define money. So when you say growth, we need to define what growth is before we can say what is growth mindset.
Wow.
So statutory definition recognizes what is meant for. This is meant for drinking water. That's statutory. That means. But if I use it to now fight, the function has changed, therefore determines what it is now called. So you can tender it in court as evidence, a weapon of destruction, weapon of use, right? Okay. So now, what is growth? Growth is what happens on the inside to determine what happens on the outside.
Inside, outside.
Yes, it is the things that are happening on the inside that determines what happens on the outside.
Wow.
So when you say growth mindset, there are components of knowledge that will install a growth mindset. There are components that happens in your growing up, society, philosophy, school, church, religion, Islam, whatever it is, that forms growth mindset. Because people talk about this growth mindset as if it's something I just pick on the street like that. No, it's not something just put on here. Okay. So over time, you either have a particular mindset. As I'm speaking to you right now, you have a mindset already. You have something, you came with it. So as I'm speaking to you, if I ask you what did you understand from what I'm saying, if I ask other people here, you find that three of you will say different things from the same thing. So what I'm saying is neutral. It is your perspective that determines how you interpret what I'm saying, and that interpretation determines your response. Okay. So growth is a progression that happens when there's an internal substance of knowledge. Okay. So let me give you an analogy.
Okay.
Development is to reveal what is inside. Okay. Does it make sense?
Yes.
To reveal
what is inside.
Okay. Growth is the process of improving or increasing the possibility of something happening. Development is to reveal what is inside.
What is already inside.
Growth is the process of improving or revealing the progression of something. So anytime something happens to me, I'm asking myself, how can I improve upon it? So let me give an example. Am I making sense in your interview?
Sure. You're making a whole lot of sense.
So development. Because people throw this word, growth mindset, this mindset. But what is it? Okay. What is development? Two words came together to form development. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. What does decapitate mean?
Decapitate? Like to destroy something?
Decapitate is to cut off. What does distract mean?
Take away attention.
Correct. What does decapitate mean?
To cut off.
To cut off the head. Okay. What does envelope mean?
Envelope.
Yes.
Envelope. Is it to close in something?
Close something. What is the envelope?
The envelope to open up.
What is develop?
To grow up.
So, you get the question now?
Yes.
So, it's two words. Envelope means to seal something. The envelope is to open and reveal. So, that's where the root word development came from. So, when it says self-development is to reveal, to open up what is inside of you to bring out to the world to see.
Wow.
That's what's called self-development. But the essence of self-development is for growth. So that's why there's something inside of you that is a gift, talent, that the essence of education, which came from the root word edusere, which means to draw from within, to bring out what is hidden. So training, instructions, is the essence of it is to bring out what is hidden as a talent into visible competence that you can use to bless people's life. Okay, so growth mindset is learning a way to make sure everything that comes around you makes a progress. It's something you develop. It's something you say, you know what? I want to learn how to grow my life, how to improve the quality of what I see. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is this type of mindset that is installed over time that gives you the power to never see anything as an obstacle, to see everything as a challenge. Remember, challenge is anything that brings out the best in you. So even if someone slaps me right now, my first response is not going to be instinct. I'm going to feel the pain, self-control. I say, why did you slap me? And I say, because you want to give me $1 million. I say, try this side again.
That's true.
But somebody who is not developed will respond like an animal. If you slap me, what happens?
Slap back.
And then I bring a gun to shoot you. He's not begging me, I'm sorry for slapping you. And that's why every other animal made by God survives by instinct. Human being succeeds by training.
Survives by instinct.
Every other animal made by God survives by instinct. They react to impulses. It's only humans that grow through training. We succeed by training. Animals survive by instinct. So when I see a human being who is not learning, who is not deliberately putting his mind to education, that person will be at the lowest level of life.
Wow. Now, how can people identify their self-limiting beliefs so that they can begin to break away from them?
If you are struggling in your life right now, if you don't have money, you can't keep a relationship, you cannot do a project and finish it, you already have limiting beliefs. It is evidenced by your struggles. Your limiting beliefs show up in the things that ordinarily is supposed to work, but they are not working. Okay? That's why you have to begin to. One of the best ways to remove limiting beliefs is find a mentor who has the result you desire. Find a coach who has the result you desire. Find a book that is talking about what you desire. Okay? So limiting beliefs are those beliefs that try to let you know that you're not qualified for that. Like you're born in a poor family, and that's the end of your life. No. Nobody is born poor. Nobody is born rich. We are all born neutral.
Neutral?
Yes, zero. We are born male and female. We are not born either poor or rich. What does that mean? If you give back to a child, if a poor man in the village who has zero balance in his account, who has been poor, and he gives back to a child today, and he take that child at birth and give it to a rich man, and that child grows up with a rich man, everything he's going to learn in his brain is about riches. So if you do blood tests, the blood of the poor man will be running his vein, the mindset of the rich man will run in his brain. That will determine his response to life. So it is what you learn that determines what you get, not what you desire. Now, if you take a rich man's son with the blood of a rich man and take him at birth and put him in the hand of a poor man, and the poor man begins the one that will develop the mind of that child, telling him things are difficult, Nigeria is a terrible place, that the world is wicked, nothing is working. That child who has the rich man's blood will begin to learn the wrong principles of life. That will limit that child, even though the blood in that person's body is the rich man's blood. Wow. So you in life, you don't get what you desire, you get what you learn. But desire is the starting point. I desire to be wealthy. I desire to be rich. The next is employ the commander-in-chief to learn those things that will open your heart and develop the discipline to help you get what you want.
For anybody desiring to produce wealth, what is the first step that that person should start taking when it comes to creating wealth in your life?
So the first thing is to try to learn the laws of wealth. Because laws is what regulate our behavior. Okay? Yeah. There's something Socrates said. He said all human behavior proceeds from three things: desire, emotions, and knowledge.
Okay.
Desire,
emotion,
and knowledge. All human activities. Okay. So if you want to become wealthy, one of the things I can tell anybody is to go and begin to learn the laws of wealth in two ways. First of all, do a research. What are the laws of wealth? You can read all you want about it, but that's not enough. Who is practicing this law? Define the practitioner. There's a place in the Bible that says in Joshua 1:8, say, this book of law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate in it day and night, and you shall observe to do according to all that is written. For then you make your way prosperous, and then you have good success. Now, if you want to become a medical doctor, what would you do?
You go into medical school.
Who would teach you there? Doctors. See, they start teaching you the principles and the laws of medicine. So what makes it a discipline is because there are certain instructions you must follow. It's not something you like. That's why you don't do what you like. You do what is right. If you want to become wealthy, don't do what you like. Do what is right. If what you like is not what is right, then make sure you make what is right what you like. So I want to be a lawyer. You have to go to law school. Who will teach you? Lawyers. They give you books on law. If you want to become a pilot, what do you do? Go to aviation school. Who will teach you their pilot? So why do you want to not become wealthy? It's not going to church. You start saying things like, by the grace of God. Why don't you say by the grace of God for medicine? Why don't you say by the grace of God for law? Why does it, when it comes to wealth, we no longer want to follow. We now want sudden breakthrough. You say, cut soap for me.
Cut soap.
Who God bless, no man can cause. I will make it in Jesus' name. Nobody knows tomorrow. Why can't you say nobody knows tomorrow about medicine? But for medicine, there are certain principles you follow. Books you buy. And you give yourself only 4 or 5 years. You're a medical doctor for life. Why can't you put 2 or 3 years and learning how wealth is created? Apprenticeship, internship, being a mentee. In fact, even if you don't have the money to pay for the time, go and do boy there. In fact, go and learn how to clean a house so that you can go and be cleaning the office where the people are discussing wealth. Because they might not employ you by any means. And they say, I am a cleaner. I learn how to clean. And then this place, how much I pay for cleaners is 100,000. Can you pay me 20,000, sir? If 100,000 will make them, because they already have cleaners already.
Yes.
And say to sir, I just, I love, I was born with cleaning. It's my blood. I'm talented, but just for the purpose of you being in the same space. So the same way poverty was introduced into your heart by your parents, your uncle, your dad, your mom, because they didn't sit down in class. It happened every day. Every day you wake up in the morning. It's the same way when you are in an environment where people are determining their actions. Your brain will learn it, even when it didn't sign up for the class.
Wow.
So one of the ways is to find out the laws that guide anything.
What are some of those laws?
Number one is the law of awareness.
The law of awareness.
Yes. Awareness means to be conscious of the presence of something. To be conscious. To be mentally
conscious
of the presence of something. Because you cannot desire what you're not aware of. So you live in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the biggest economies in the world. But you need to be aware there's money in this country. If you know there's money in this country, the next thing is the law of study. How can I find the money? Now, if I give you this book, you say, thank you, sir. And you go and keep it in the house. And then somebody now gives the book and open it and see $1 million check signed with no name put there. And the person now takes the book and hide it. You dropped it on the table. Somebody's not keeping the book well. Why would you drop it carelessly and somebody's keeping it well? Why? Awareness. The person has seen something in this book that you did not see.
Yes.
But the book belongs to you, but you have not opened the book. So you can be sitting on gold and begging for silver. So the first law is awareness. So awareness is opening your mind to become conscious, apprehensive of the possibilities around you. So the first question I ask you, what is the value for you? I want to know what my interview will mean to you. If I know, it will determine how. If you say it's not just nothing, you just want to have fun. I'll be cracking jokes with you. Do you understand? Doing the housekeeper wholesale. But because you mentioned Mazi, you mentioned, valuation, I think this might make this young man lead to his breakthrough. This is probably going to be one of the biggest content that will change the course of your life. That's why because I'm aware that this means the whole world to you.
Yes.
What if I'm not aware of it? So sometimes people have done things for me they couldn't do for themselves because I'm aware of what they can be, more than what they know about themselves.
Wow.
So the law of awareness is make sure, what are the possibilities? Who is this man? In as much as you're here looking for me, is it possible you know the people that I'm looking for? I've done a study on you too.
Yeah.
I ask you about somebody now. What if I'm doing you right there in front of me? Is the door to anybody that I want. It's possible you have a built relationship with them.
Yes.
If I go to them, they give me protocol. But if you call them that this man is my friend, he's part of my, please, I want you to do this for me.
Yes.
Because I'm aware of the things that you carry.
That's true. Wow. So that is law of awareness.
Yes.
What are the other laws?
The second one is the law of study.
Law of study. Yes. Okay.
I will give you 5. What would you do with it?
You give me 5.
What would you do with it?
5 what?
See. You're aware that it's 5, but you don't know what the 5 is. Oh, just make a wild guess. What would you do with 5?
5. 5. Could it be money?
Yes. What would you do with whatever? 5 something.
I don't know anything.
I'll give you 5 snakes.
5 snakes?
Yes.
Of course, I'm going to reject it.
See. So 5 is useless after I tell you what 5 is. So there's so many things you have awareness, but you don't know what they contain. So you can't, because you're aware of something doesn't mean you understand what it is. I give you $5 million. So law of study says you have to study that which you're aware of to be able to control it.
Wow.
Mr. Ugo, is this. To what extent do you know what I can do? That is why in relationship, you understand somebody. It is in the study of what exists that the power to control it is gotten.
That's true.
So, second law of wealth is law of study.
Okay.
There's some place in the Bible, it is said in Proverbs 25 verse 2, it says, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the honor of kings to search. So which means study is a royal behavior. It takes a king to want to study. And I've not seen any billionaire that is really good business who is not a learner. So how come you want to be wealthy and rich, but you don't pay attention to learning? There's so many things you are aware that exist, but you have no knowledge of what those things are. So, for example, love awareness, right?
Love study.
Somebody wants to see you at the gate. Somebody's at the gate waiting for you. What would you do with it?
I don't know who the person is.
So, you don't know what to react.
I don't know what to do.
If I tell you the president is outside waiting for you, what do you do?
I rush out.
See, your response was because you're not only aware that somebody's there, you now have knowledge of who is there. So it's important to understand that awareness is the beginning of your desire. Yes. So you can desire what you're not aware of. So awareness creates the desire. Knowledge creates the power to use what you have.
You're discussing on study, law, and the law of study. So after the law of study, is there other laws? How many do you describe those laws?
I found about 8 laws, but the reason why I don't talk about it so much, I talk about it in relationship. I discuss those things in relationship because I've done events where I have done all those 8 laws. We just cram it.
Yeah,
like I'm doing the litany of the Virgin Mary. They do the epiphany, all those things people lie, the 7 laws of wealth, 7 grace. But it's just to recognize that there are forces that guide our actions. Once your actions is in alignment with the laws of wealth, the result is certain. It's to discover those laws and then begin to operate in the reality of those laws. There are 8 of them, okay? There are 8 of them, but I'm just mentioning the law of study, there's the law of contagion, there's law of progress. There's so many, but I try not to just list it out because people try to go and Google it. You won't find it in Google. It is what you discover and begin to understand this principle. And then you make it as a function of your reality. It guides your actions and detects your thoughts. I get my point? In that way, and that's why any result you cannot sustain, the first one was a mistake.
Wow.
So if you make 40 million last year and you're struggling to make 20 million this year, what law did you obey last year? You don't know what it is. So somehow you stumbled on the right thing and results showed up. But because you don't know what laws you obeyed, it's difficult to sustain the result. Instead of chasing the money, chase the laws. The laws guarantees the outcome. This book of law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate in it day and night. And you shall observe to do. Observation. Observe means go and find those who are practicing the principles that is in the book.
Wow.
And they know about the Igbo apprenticeship.
Sure.
You see, anybody that does apprenticeship for 6 years cannot be the same person anymore. Because you will see how your boss does those things. It is not what you read, it is what you witnessed.
That's very true.
Do you get my point?
That's very true. So I think let's come out from that side. Now, what are some of the common challenges businesses face in Nigeria, in this part of the world? How can they overcome it?
Well, there are unique challenges for every environment.
Yes.
But nonetheless, every environment has a challenge. Okay. I traveled to different countries, been to France, Germany, US, UK, just name them. In each of those countries that are wonderful, there's always a new building coming up, something new is coming. So sometimes I walk into my classes and I ask people, please, if you know you have gotten to the peak of what you can be, this class is not for you. But if you have billionaires, broke people, let me say, so if you're a millionaire here, dollars, if you have gotten to the peak of what you can be, they say no, they have not. So it means they're still going to face more challenges.
That's true.
Does it make sense? So now, as applies to environment, there are certain political challenges a particular business may face in their economy. There are certain security issues a business may face in an economy. There are certain regulatory issues, government issues, all of those kind of issues. But it's natural to business, whether it's in America, in the UK, in the US, whether it's in Europe or Africa. It's the same thing, all of them. But once you begin to operate by the universal laws of wealth, you find that you override these challenges. You eat them as breakfast. Okay? So businesses don't fail, people fail.
People fail, not business.
No. People don't fail. They just don't know enough to create what they want. Now, businesses don't fail because businesses don't run themselves. It is people that run businesses. It's the extent of the knowledge they have that determines how successful the business will be.
That's true.
Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Businesses don't fail. People fail. People do not fail. They just don't know enough to create what they want. If you go to your CAC document, you will see XYZ International Limited. You will now see directors. There's human beings that will be there. Directors. Directors. Which means it is the mind of these people that will direct the business. So when I say business challenges, it's knowledge challenge. This new government comes in, business is thriving. Another government comes in, change policies, something else is happening. The ability to adapt to these changes and know what is working at times is what makes you succeed. So it's a dynamic growth and a dynamic system of learning. And now, learning leads to growth. Learning leads to growth. The byproduct, the waste product of learning is knowledge. Knowledge is the waste product of learning. As a matter of fact, knowledge is overrated. Learning is superior to knowledge. Knowledge is what you receive after you have applied what you've read or what you've learned. And that's why anytime you cannot explain to me how you got your result, which means that result did not come through learning, it came by chance.
That's true.
If you build a business, you got this result of doing well, and I ask you, so how did you get there? And you cannot explain to me how it happened. It means some happenstance
came involved.
Do you get my point?
That's true.
Okay. And what can there be succession if you don't document what works? No. So the business challenges is that people got to the point they begin to feel invincible, like they are superstars. They stop learning. We also know the case of Nokia. Nothing was wrong with the phone. All of a sudden, they felt they're at the top of the industry. Microsoft, Apple came and disrupted. And the CEO of Nokia said that they didn't do anything wrong. They were not changing and learning fast enough as industry. So the rate at which you learn should be faster than the rate of change for you to continue to become the trend setter in your industry. Okay. So business challenges is actually knowledge challenges. The ability to analyze data, analyze information, adapt, collaborate where your strength is no longer. Somebody's coming into your field. This person's coming with everything possible, powerful in that area. Instead of competing, find a way to collaborate. But don't collaborate when the competition has already started. If you can envisage early, invest in that company early, and then become part of them before they come into the places. And this is what all these big companies you're seeing. So all these Apple, Twitter, Meta, they all have shares in each other. Once one of them break out from, like, you know how you're doing business, maybe WhatsApp came out of a company like Meta, and this is about to start its own. They will also go back and put money there while it's still starting. In case it succeeds, they're part of the business. So it's adapting to change by learning the trends and observing and seeing the differences in what's happening.
Are those challenges peculiar to certain regions? Because in this part of our world, most people will tell you that the opportunities there, most of the countries you mentioned when it comes to what they face business-wise and the challenges could be different from what we face here. Like a typical entrepreneur starting up in this part of the world, maybe one of the challenges you may face is electricity, no constant power supply, bad policies and all of those things. So how can people or entrepreneurs overcome those peculiar challenges that are inherent in this part of the world?
It goes back to the same growth mindset, because everything in life has what the laws of wealth is law of polarity, law of duality. Okay. The law of duality in China is called yin yang. For every left, there's a right.
That's right.
So there's no one bad situation. In the bad situation, there's a good thing around it. In every good situation, there's a possibility of something bad happening. That's what's called the pessimist optimism. Okay. When something is going well with you, the next event is bad thing. So what do you do now? You begin
preparing for it.
So prepare things that when that bad thing comes, the concept is called obviation.
Okay.
Obviate, O-B-V-I-A-T, V-I-A-T-E. Obviate. To put things in place. When that bad thing is coming, you have put things in place to reduce the effect, to not kill you. But it's not like you're stopping it. Okay. So challenges, the opportunities you talked about are different in different countries. I learned that there's no such thing as crisis in Chinese language.
Okay.
I think I read in one of the books I read. What you call crisis, the Chinese call opportunities. So when they say somebody's house is burning, they don't see it as a house. They find the opportunity to tell them how to build a better house. So they come there, congratulations. I say, now, I have blocks, I have cement. So you use asbestos, use wood. I have something that fire cannot burn. So it is the same way that to recognize that each country, each continent has their unique problems. Though there are basic business environment that's supposed to be there, but sometimes this is outside your control.
It's true.
Okay, like I have solar, I have inverter, I have generator, 20 kVA. I will still have the one that do you understand?
Yes.
So, but those four things is giving somebody money. The inverter person is making money. The solar person is making money. I get my point.
Yes.
And then, and most business people, most wealthy people live on simple things. Their life is simpler. We don't live a sophisticated life. So put our money in our businesses. Some people are making more money than I have, but they don't have these power source supplies to be able to keep them actively, being progressive. So each region has their unique challenges, at the same time has an embedded opportunity inside those challenges. Is to figure out what is unique about your own challenges and how to make something out of it. And I'll tell you this. Opportunity is different from a chance. A chance you cannot control. Opportunity you can control. Opportunity is situation whose odds are in your favor. Opportunity are situations whose odds are in your favor. But when the odds are not in your favor, it's called a chance. So what do you do as a business person? Increase the odds. So you wrote me, my system kicked back at you. They asked you to fill a form.
Yes.
You wrote me directly. What are you trying to do? You're trying to change the odds.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Do it make sense?
Yes.
So every day, your business as a businessman is how do I improve my odds? What can I learn to add to what I know? Who can I connect with to make it easy for me? What can I develop? So you're asking, how can I turn a chance into an opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Today you're here, I've asked you about somebody. What am I trying to do?
Trying to connect.
Yes, I've asked you about someone. And I'm turning it into an opportunity. I can write to the person. The person can see my profile and say, oh, this guy is also a big league. Right?
Yes.
But I can cut all those things off by leveraging on someone who already has a relationship.
That's true.
Does it make sense?
Yes. Now, I have two final questions. And one of them is, what are some of the most valuable skills or qualities someone can develop in order for them to have the chances or to increase their chances of entrepreneurial success?
One is emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes. Being able to regulate your emotion, control it in respect to other people. Self-awareness is important. Number one, I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. Okay.
That's true.
I know what I'm worth. Now, if I know who I am, I know what I'm worth, and I'm constantly improving the quality of my mind, developing myself. If I am all that, and I display I'm all that, and I'm still able to deal with people in a very unique manner, people will see me as a very good person. Because I'm able to provide value, I still keep my head down. Another skill you need to develop is leadership skill. How to influence people to follow a particular direction. So self-awareness is self-regulatory. It makes it to have confidence in who you are, in what you carry, and also evaluate what you carry. Try to ask yourself questions. What value can people get from me? Do you understand?
Yes.
What can I do to improve people's life? So that anytime anybody meets me, I'm an advantage to the person.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
These are the mindset that you can have that can help you to, develop good way to relate with people. Then leadership skill, volunteer to places where money is not a problem. Because most of the times, people are desperate when there's a need for money.
People are desperate when there's need for money.
If the reason why you're doing something is purely because of money, greed comes in.
Okay.
When that money is not there, you won't give your best. But when the reason why you're doing it is because in and of itself is worthy of your time, Even when money is not big, you will do it to the best of your ability. Guess what? If you continue to do it like that, money will naturally find you. Because who wouldn't want to pay for premium? Okay, so volunteer to serve in great causes, in great companies, in great opportunities. In volunteering, that thing you volunteer will also feed you back. Okay, and then also learn to live a simple life.
Simple life.
Simple life. Don't get into the sophistication of designers. Try to buy luxury items. Those things can take money that you sweated for and burn it in a minute.
Some people may say that simple life you're talking about, maybe just for them to project how they want the world to perceive them, like perception.
Yeah, but it's different from living a life of simplicity. Okay. Like the more you are self-aware, the less you need outside things to confirm who you are. And my experience has shown that people who really need you don't really care about what you wear. They care about who you are. When I started my consulting firm, okay, I have 2 consulting firms. When I go to my client, none of my clients have asked me what car I came with. They only find out how I can help the company grow. And there were people I met that time when I was consulting. They were driving LR4, that's Range Rovers. And I was driving the Quest Villager, that's this van. Okay, and we come to the bank, we now go and present our proposal, and that defend our proposal, defend it. Because most of the times I don't say proposal, I give you a sample. So when we come to the parking lot, you see LR4, all these big cars, and I'll come with my, okay. But when we get in front of the client, they're not checking who came with what car. They're checking who can solve our problem. So at that point in time, in that my particular business, it is not what I'm wearing that determines what they're going to tell me. It is the quality of knowledge I have. And it is best demonstrated in the sample you give them to be able to try. So when that value communicates to them, they will pay anything. Do you get the point?
Yes.
But you know, there's a lot of noise. People are thinking marketing is projecting, living large. And you find out that the higher you go in wealth, the less of those things you need, of those branding. But they say, poor men dress up, rich men dress down. Have you heard it before?
I've heard it before.
Right.
Poor men dress down. Now, okay, one of the final question is, what advice will you give to individuals with disabilities who aspire to pursue their career despite the obstacles that they are facing?
So with what you've done, you have to rephrase that question. When you say disability, what do you mean?
That means most of them have physical challenges and all of that.
Well, so okay, 2 things. I still have physical challenges, so what do I mean? Steps to climb. So advice I can give you is to buy better wheelchair. Have a PA that can carry you up. Or be so good that meeting that's supposed to be at 7th floor can run out to the 1st floor.
Yes.
That's not what you're asking me. What are you asking me?
What I'm asking is, how can someone that is facing mental disability,
now you're asking me.
how can they begin to build themselves in their mindset so that they're able to achieve things?
So to rephrase the question, when you see people have physical disabilities, it's a physical disability. Movement, environmental infrastructure, that's at the best what that can happen. I still face it. Sometimes I go to a place, there's no lift. My disability means I cannot climb the staircase. What do? Get somebody to lift me up. Shaken, case closed. Is that a problem? But if you're asking that question in the terms of the physical disability is now stopping you, no, it is your mind that's already stopping you, even though your leg is just a camouflage. Any person that is begging because his leg is bad, but be the criminal if his leg is okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
He's using leg to camouflage. Thank God the leg was broken off, because the guy will carry gun. So the physical challenge is infrastructural thing, ease of movement, but the real disability is lack of your mind. To develop your mind, grow it to become a thinker, creating, and any job that requires you to work harder before you earn better is called menial job. But any job that requires you to learn better before you earn higher is called an executive job. So get into the execution of learning, researching, developing. Even in the world we are living right now, there's less physical contact. Everybody, right?
That's true.
So basically, the physical disability has its own physical infrastructural impediments, like building codes, roads, movement. That's as simple as it can be. Unless there's something else behind that, you need the medical attention. But in absence of all these realities, please, the real reality, the real disability is lack of education. And when I mean education, I don't mean school. I mean proper self-development, studying, reading, mentorship, coaching, and taking your life in your own hands.
Now, to finalize it, how do you master your mind?
How do you master your mind? So the mind has different faculties. Okay, faculties is the ability of the mind to think. There is memory. There is imagination. The two faculties of the mind: the ability to remember and the ability to imagine. And nobody is born with memory. We develop memories. And memory is the ability of your mind to receive information, store the information, encode the information, and retrieve it for future purposes. So in the mastery of your mind, I need you to understand that you have the capacity to receive information, store, encode, and retrieve. So every time you go out every day, do the things you want your mind to remember for the thing that is coming ahead of you. So the reason why you go for driving school is to build the memories of driving. So when you're not get on the road, your mind will remember how to drive. So for every outcome you want, go and teach your mind how to remember what to do when the opportunity comes. And the reason why your mind thinks is because it doesn't want to think.
The mind thinks because it doesn't want to think.
Yes. Your mind does not like thinking. That's why anytime you learn something, it will automate it. So if you drive your car the first time you're driving your car, your mind doesn't like it. It's like anytime you start something new, your mind is struggling. You know what it's doing? If you do the first time, your mind will record it. If you do the second time, it will record it. If you do the third time, you record it. If the fifth time, it just play back. So now you can get into your car after 6 months of driving and just start the car, start moving forward, because your brain is you're not the one driving. Your brain is replaying the file of driving. So as I'm speaking to you right now, the files of wealth is already in my head. I'm just talking plenty because I'm not the one talking. As you ask me a question, my mind goes to my file, checks the memory, and brings it back, and language puts there to express it. Does it make sense?
Wow.
That's mind mastery. Do the things you want your mind to remember. If you don't, your mind will remember what you don't want. So every day you're waking up, hanging out with friends, going to places, your mind is recording it.
Yes.
You can't pause. It will record what you expose it. So you have the power to choose what you expose your mind to, because your mind will record it.
Wow.
Then once that is done, then envision a possibility. Say yourself, in the next 2 years, this is the person I am going to be. Don't say this is the person I will be. Say this is the person I am. Which means you are already. Time is what you now need to manifest it. But if you say I will, you will never. So don't say don't say I will be. Say I am. Put what you want there. Time and space will direct your actions in that which you are. So, but that which you are is not always visible. It takes time to manifest. For right now, I can be speaking to a multi-millionaire. Right now, I'm speaking to a millionaire in dollars. But over time, as you continue to do this event, in the next 4 to 5 years, that which you are will manifest. But for me to see it now, I have to check what you expose yourself to, so I can predict a possibility based on what you're doing today.
Wow. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for this session. I can share a final advice to entrepreneurs and businessmen and people out there just facing general challenges.
So nobody's born poor or rich. You're born neutral. Okay. You're born male or female. Okay. Wealth is psychological. Poverty is biological. In other words, the things that your brain records in your biology, in your assets, determine the things you do. But psychology means that you can decide today to tell yourself that I am a different person from what you're seeing today. And that psychology becomes your new reality. And then you can biologically begin to do things again. The same way it took a student doctor 6 years to manifest a doctor. But you first of all have to choose a course before you choose your teachers. So choose a life right now, and then your teachers will follow you. And if you follow the instructions of the teachers who represent the course you chose, like wealth, I guarantee you the same way lawyers graduate, doctors graduate, you're also going to graduate as a multi-millionaire with the capacity to teach it and bet more millionaires. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for this session. Thank you so much. Can you share how people can be able to reach out to you, contact you, or your consulting and all of that?
You can share it. Go to Ugochukwu Omeogu, as you showing on the screen, Ugochukwu Omeogu. You will see my Instagram handle, Facebook, website, and I can't wait to have you into all of my, platforms. And please reach out to me with any of the platforms, and then I'll be glad. My team and I will be glad to help you with that we can. Okay, I'll tell you this to you. Freedom does not come from making money. Freedom comes from learning how things work.
Thank you so much once again, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank our guest, Ugochukwu Omeogu, for this very powerful session. I believe you have been highly, highly impacted. This is definitely going to be one of the best content you've seen on our channel. And definitely, I know this will change your mindset and will change your life. So if this is our first time coming to the channel, do it to hit the subscribe button, like the video, share it, and don't forget to turn on the post notifications. So every time I upload a new video, one of the first to get notified. I remain Benzik, and I'll see you again next time. Thank our guest, Mr. Ugochukwu.
Thank you so much. Selahmeditate. He has great content. This is a very interesting interview. It was really very
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So see you again next time, guys. Cheers.